a man, a coward, a psycho, shot a California business owner, Lauri Carleton, who's the mother of 9. And she was a business owner in Lake Arrowhead. She had like a clothing store that had also run as a shelter during hard times, a massive storm in Lake Arrowhead. She was shot because she dared display a pride flag outside of her store. She did this for, I believe, years. And increasingly it had been vandalized, removed, and she kept on coming back. She kept on buying a new one, and she kept on putting it back. But here's more of the story. She was shot and killed Friday by a man who first made, quote, several disparaging remarks about a rainbow flag that stood outside the store, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department officials said in a news release. A single bullet hole punctured the glass entrance to Carleton's store, Magpie, and solemnly greeted the cortege of mourners dropping off flowers and more rainbow flags. So it clearly shot through the store window. A tragic killing of Lauri over the pride flag displayed at her Lake Arrowhead store was senseless and unfortunately part of a growing number of attacks on LGBTQ people and our allies, said Sarah Kate Ellis, president of GLAAD. GLAAD and the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, have tracked more than 350 anti-LGBTQ plus attacks around the country this year. That seems low. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that reported. But Carleton, again, mother of 9, one of her kids says she was fearless, said Ari Carleton. My mom has like a long been a fierce ally of the LGBTQ community. We have plenty of members of the community in our family and our close friend groups. So it's just important to her because those are people that I was raised around and always loved. And lastly, and this was kind of just like a sweet and really like touching, sad thing, but apparently the family got like a package recent, like after their mom was killed. And I was like, oh God, was it from the shooter? Did someone send them something? No. It was a flag. It was another pride flag that she had purchased because she felt like the one that she had up was like fading. So she had bought this in advance and that was what she died over. And the shooter, lo and behold, not really a big surprise here, was a 27-year-old man named Travis Ikeguchi, or Ike, not sure how to pronounce his name. He was anti-vax, anti-gay, anti-Semitic, anti-choice, and an RFK Jr. fan. This is fun. So this is a couple of tweets from Mike Rothschild, who is screenshotting and sending up a bunch of images and tweets that this guy, Travis, had posted beforehand. I mean, it's hard to say because this is like those kinds of tweets. That's just shit that's on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. That's just stuff you see all the time. Yeah. So it's like, that's not even really a clue that someone's necessarily going to go murder somebody, because part of me is like, oh, how do we not see this? I don't know. Because everyone does that online. All these little, muskettes who are like thirsty to be wealthy and think that gay people are taking their money from them somehow. But anyway, Ida, that's here. That's in California.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one hits close to home. 3 of the young women who are her children attended school with my son. They all went to, I won't say the name of the school because they might still have kids there, but they all went to the school. My son was the one that told me about this because he received an email from the board telling them that, part of their family has been affected by this crime. But, personally, it's going to be 10 years in October, the day before my book comes out, October 16th. My uncle was murdered in a hate crime in Florida. He was beat to death in 2013, and he was beat to death for being a queer man. So when this hits, home, it's, we keep ignoring in this country. First of all, we continuously ignore mental illness, and then we continuously ignore the effects that misinformation, the responsibility that the media has in informing and moving the people. So a lot of people want to wash their hands and say that this is not, I remember Donald Trump after being, fully vaccinated, still encouraging people not to get vaccinated. And then, or telling people, there was a couple that took the hydrochloroquine and somebody died, but there's never any accountability. Well, there should be, because the truth is that a lot of these people are misinforming and arming and continuously instigating within a group of people that have a high number of mentally ill people, and that people that are struggling with mental illness. And this is the result of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, people don't ever think it's going to turn into something until it does. And then we mourn, we throw up pictures, and then we move on, and it continues to go on. And this is not okay. It's not okay.
And a border, you know, I mean, border, I was just thinking, like, you know, blue state, red state, like we're talking about, it doesn't matter. This isn't about, just like abortion rights too, you know, all of the hate travels, and who knows where. I believe this man was actually from California. We aren't safe. And my mind obviously continually goes to guns and the accessibility of them, because it's the one factor it feels like we can control. Because it is the outlier. It's the reason we have this many gun deaths and murders. And yet it somehow is simultaneously the thing that is the least in our control, because it seems like a complete third rail topic that we could never actually rein in. So we do have to focus on all the other factors, as you're saying, the mental illness, but also the hate mongering, the anti-gay mongering from DeSantis, from all Republicans right now, from Fox News, from Matt Walsh, from Elon Musk himself, from everybody. And so, like, and this is, I think, when you're talking about misinformation, it's why in a non-Republican way, we need to stop big tech. Like, we actually have to crack down on big tech. And I include, like, Twitter. Twitter is a heinous place now. It was always been, it's even worse now. From before the suspect was identified, who, by the way, did die in a shootout with police. So, like, hey, at least we actually kill our criminals here instead of giving them a fucking Burger King. I guess that's the least you could say for California. I don't know. You know, not that I'm relishing in that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there was misinformation spread about who the murderer was. A lot of people online on Twitter were saying, oh, her brother killed her. So everyone's sharing a false article from some blue check mark, and that's just propagating. And we're okay with that because the richest guy in the world wanted to buy this for a pet project. That's a major mode of communication here. People go to Twitter all the time for their news, right? There's an earthquake. Let's go to Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, if you told me, like, elves got together and they farted en masse in Southern California, and that's why there was a 5.0 earthquake in Ojai, I'd be like, okay, that's probably right, because it's on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I got off of Twitter. It's been over a year now. It was just too hateful for me. But yeah, I mean, listen, there are people who are struggling with their mental well-being. You know, they just really are. And just like some people traveled to San Diego for a mass, you know, suicide because they believed they were going to another planet, just like Jim Jones did what Jim Jones did, David Koresh. When you think about this stuff, you know, a lot of people think that this is very extreme and uncommon, but I think that it is more common than we'd like to admit, because you know, we have such a great number of people that belong to our population living on the streets, that don't have access to health care, that don't have access. If people can't go to the doctor for a physical, you think they're going to go to see a therapist? Like, it's just, you know, we're out of balance.
And that's who the right preys on is folks who are already have been, like, broken down by many other different circumstances. And they like it like that. It's like, oh, that's great. That's more fodder for them. That's more psychos who are going to vote for them. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do it.